Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the NASA Exploration Science Forum. This is our 13th such forum, starting with the Lunar Science Forum a number of years ago, and the second all-virtual meeting. I'd like to start with a few acknowledgements and thank yous. First of all, we have a number of VIPs attending. Administrator Bridenstine will be joining us in just over an hour. NASA Chief Scientist Jim Green, I believe, is online now and will be giving a talk tomorrow. Lori Glaze and Mark Kirasich. Lori from Head of Planetary Sciences at the Science Mission Directorate. Mark, a division director within HEO MD, will be joining us on Friday for an interesting session. We have a number of headquarters speakers coming up very shortly: Ben Bussey, Sarah Noble, Jake Bleacher, and Andrew Petro. Also would like to thank Shoshana Wider and Victoria Andrews and Betty Siegel, as well as Brad Bailey all at headquarters for the continuous support. And I want to thank the Science Organizing Committee for their help in putting together what I think is going to be just a great program. So Rachel Klima, Tobin Munsat, and David Rupetti were the chairs, and I want to thank them as well as the entire SOC. And then I also want to thank the virtual organizing committee for the forum. And we're having this meeting virtually. We also had all the preparations virtual as well, and the team did just great. So this is comprised of the Survey Central staff, as well as Lisa Faithhorn, who joined us as an advisor. We're also going to be joined on Thursday, tomorrow, by Masaki Fujimoto, a senior leader in JAXA in Japan. And then before I go on, I want to acknowledge my predecessors, and particularly David Morrison, who just celebrated his 80th birthday. So I'd lead in a round of happy birthday, David, but I don't think you want to hear me singing here. And also my thanks to Yvonne Pendleton as well. It's really great to have everyone here. Back in March, when it started to become clear that this meeting wasn't going to be in person, we wondered what it might be like. I wondered personally about and worried about the potential for not getting a response. Would we send out the call for abstracts and get just a handful? Well, I shouldn't have worried. We have a record number of attendees, and we're at just shy of 600, and also a record number of abstracts at 185. So with that, the Science Organizing Committee had quite their job ahead of them organizing things, but they did it very well, and we have quite a great meeting ahead of us through Friday. I want to take the time right now, many of you have probably seen it already, but I want to take the time to announce our annual awardees. And then tomorrow we will have the formal ceremony in which you'll get to hear them talk. So starting with the Susan Mahan Niebuhr Early Career Award, we have awarded Amy Fagan and Ryan Watkins jointly with this award. Following that, with the Angioletta Corradini Award, we've awarded Harry Hiesinger of Germany this year with that award. For the Michael Wargo Award this year, we've awarded Mark Robinson. And then finally, for the Eugene Shoemaker Lifetime Achievement Medal, we've awarded Brad Jolliffe. So like I say, we'll have a ceremony tomorrow, and I want to congratulate everyone, and I wish that we could all give them a round of applause. We're lucky to have the tech team that we do at Survey Central. We went into the pandemic with, I have to say, a lot of experience at doing the kind of work that all of us have had to do. We thought hard about the forum and what did we want to do with it. We have a lot of new features that you'll see. I want to also start off by saying I think of these events in the context of a wedding. So most things are going to go right and be wonderful, but plan on a couple of things going wrong. The thing is that we have our very capable team to fix it, and so I'm not worried at all. But if you do have problems, go to the Best Practices tab on the forum website, and there's a link to connect you to our tech team, as well as a lot of other information that you will hopefully find useful. One of the features that we have this year that I think that we've done a much better job with as compared to the last forum is posters. And so posters, in my way of thinking of it anyway, represent the bulk of the science that we are doing at the forum. We have 98 posters that you can take a look at, and you could take a look at them anytime you want and see recordings that people uploaded, as well as the posters themselves. And then during the poster sessions, you'll be able to talk with the poster authors. And so we have signups for this. All of you should have gotten my email last night, as well as Christina's email earlier saying how to do this. And so I strongly encourage you to sign up. It won't work if we don't have attendees. So please do attend the poster sessions, and I think it's going to be exciting. And I particularly encourage you to sign up for the student session as well. Just a few other notes. We encourage you to turn your camera off as well as your audio during presentations. We will have a group photo after Professor Dina Khalil's talk. Her talk follows Administrator Bridenstine's. So please hang around, don't go away to the break too early. And we'd like to have everyone turn their cameras on at that point and get a group photo. One thing, as compared with last year and the years when we do this in person, the recordings are going to be available just a bit later than normal. One of the explanations, the prime explanation for this is bandwidth, and let's just say it's not what it is at home where we all are, as compared to what it is at NASA Ames, where we usually hold the forum. Furthermore, there's no errata on the schedule, so please check the schedule daily. We have made some changes. For instance, the time that Lori Glaze and Mark Kirisich are talking on Friday has changed by a half an hour. That will be reflected later. It isn't yet reflected, so do check the schedule daily. So I just want to say a few more comments here, and then I'm going to turn it over to my co-chair for this session. So to say we live in unusual times, that's become perhaps the most overused phrase that we've all heard in the last few months. There's a big cost to all of this, and that's in people growing apart and communities drifting. And I think that when our team got together in March, when we realized that we're going to have to move this meeting from being an in-person one, we were then planning it for Boulder, Colorado, to an online one, we thought hard about these challenges. A large part of our community had just suffered the cancellation of LPSC, and many of you out there were planning to go to LPSC, and I know that the talks are always wonderful, but the companionship of other people is equally wonderful. And so, and I know from talking with many of you how hard that hit. But on top of that, many of these friends that I have in this community are just starting their careers, and they face some unique challenges, such as not being able to mingle and meet with future advisors and employers. We decided that despite an online format this year, we're going to do our best to bring people together and make connections, and I hope we're successful. More recently, the country's experienced an enormous amount of unrest, entirely justified after so many years of not dealing with some core problems. We've decided to try to help in that way too, and we recently formed a diversity and inclusion focus group under the very capable leadership of Dr. Jay Greer. We're featuring a talk this morning on that topic right after Administrator Bridenstine on some of the challenges and opportunities we have by Professor Dina Khalil of Howard University, who does research in this area and is part of the resource team under the leadership of Dr. Jennifer Heldman. My sincere hope is that when we all get together next year, we will have made some measurable progress in this area. Please hold us to that. With the philosophy of more Nextgen involvement, you probably noticed that we have 2 co-chairs for each of our sessions this year, one of them being early career. This opening session is no exception, and with that, I'd like to introduce Dr. Ariel Deutsch. Dr. Deutsch is a recent PhD graduate from Jim Head's lab at Brown University, and we're lucky that she will be joining us at NASA Ames this fall for a postdoctoral fellowship under the guidance of Jennifer Heldman. Ariel, please go ahead.
Thanks, Greg. I'm so happy to be able to help welcome people online today. ESF is always one of my own favorite conferences, and I think especially now, as Greg was saying, it's so important to have an opportunity to come together and share new ideas and advance discussions in science and tech and exploration. And we have a really great program over the next 3 days, which excitingly features lots of student involvement. So I just encourage everyone who's tuning in to consider how to reach out to and support those early career participants. As Greg was saying, especially now in these difficult times, which are creating some challenges for people that are just beginning in the field. I think that one of the best things that ESF does for students is integrate the student lightning round talks into the program. So about mid-program today and mid-program tomorrow, we'll have the chance to learn from some of the students about what they're working on, and this will be really great. So please pay attention to that. And then hopefully also everyone's aware, but we have 2 virtual poster sessions, one at the end of the program today and one at the beginning of Friday. And both are also featuring lots of excellent student work. So please keep an eye out for the student presenters, and they're denoted in the program with an asterisk. And Ricky and Olive Survey has really put a lot of thought into how to make these virtual poster sessions as personable as possible. So we have these individual poster Zoom rooms, and it would be really great if we could all make an effort to visit the posters. I think the only thing worse than standing by your poster for an hour at a conference and not having anyone come by would be sitting in a Zoom room by yourself for an hour and not having anyone come by. So let's definitely support one another and show up and really engage in these poster sessions. As Greg was saying, that face-to-face aspect or that hallway run-in that we have at normal conferences is something we're all missing right now. So hopefully these Zoom rooms can address some of that void. I know that for me, this conference has always been such a supportive place ever since starting graduate school. And I hope that the students and early career people can continue to count on all of the incredible mentors that really make this community what it is and maintain communication and contacts and support networks. So finally, I just want to recognize the success of Loon GradCon, which is a student-run conference that always precedes ESF. And this year, Loon GradCon took place virtually just last week. And for the first time, the program filled 2 full days as opposed to just the historical 1 day. So massive thanks to Survey for supporting this as always. And then of course, the student organizers who made this a possibility. And so I don't want to take any more time. We have a brilliant program. I'm really looking forward to it. So I'll give it back to you, Greg.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Deutsch. It is such a pleasure to call you Dr. Deutsch. I was at her thesis defense just a handful of months ago, and I am just, with people like her in the community, lunar science, our field has a very, very bright future. So thanks to you, and thanks to all of our Nextgen attendees and speakers and poster presenters for what I know is going to be just a fantastic contribution to our community.